Okay, so we are recording now. We can do a
We're recording
intro
now.
if you'd like. We're recording now. You can do an intro if you'd like.
No, I don't really want to.
Okay then. All
Hey
right.
guys,
Well,
what's
welcome.
up? Welcome to Just Our Opinion. Back for another episode. We're excited to talk about some stuff. Yeah, I'm super psyched.
Yeah,
Joey, how
we
about
have
you?
like what, 3 questions, 4 questions maybe?
Three whole questions.
3 whole questions that we actually
Crazy,
got from actual people. I got my
crazy.
cup of coffee and I'm ready to freaking party.
I got my hat on backwards and I'm ready to freaking party. See, I hate myself and I'm trying to trim down, so I have water.
Oh yeah. Well, I have my water bottle too, but I haven't had my cup of coffee yet today.
Oh,
So
are you okay?
no, I like right around 8 o'clock. I started getting this splitting headache, and I was like, oh, I know why that's happening. It's because I'm addicted to coffee. That's why.
Coffee addiction. That,
Remember, kids,
that's true.
coffee addiction's for adults.
Or kids. It depends on if your parents let you drink
Well,
coffee or not. Dude,
that's
remember
true.
that totally stupid lie everybody tried to tell you? Did you ever get told you didn't drink
What?
coffee when you were a kid?
Not very often, no.
So probably you were never told this, but all these adults kept trying to come up to my parents and me when they realized that I drank coffee, and they were all like, coffee stunts your growth. You're going to be short. And that has not happened. I'm 6 feet tall. That's
Yeah.
technically above
It,
average. So
no, there's a
it's
thing
sad.
that like there's a thing. There was a study done, a survey really. It wasn't like a scientific study it was just a survey, but like
We'll
they
call it a
basically
scientific study. It's fine.
right, and they just asked like a bunch of people that were like liked coffee and were short. Like I don't know how short they had to be for this, but like they just asked them, when did you start to like coffee? And they're like, oh, we didn't really drink coffee until like after we finished growing. Like we stopped growing and then we started drinking coffee. Like the
Yeah.
correlation was, it wasn't. We didn't get short because we drank coffee. We drink coffee because we're short. And
Ditto.
you know,
Well, not ditto, but yeah. I don't know why I said ditto. That doesn't make any sense.
very good, very good.
Uh, all right. You want to move on to a question?
Move on to the questions. Let's start with one that'll turn like everyone away. This was actually a question that was left on our last podcast, like on YouTube. So yeah, if you made it this far into the podcast and you're listening, like go
It's
ahead and
only
leave
three
us a
minutes. You're
question.
already thinking people have turned off after 3 minutes?
Yep.
I mean,
Well, uh,
anyway.
but anyways, if you want to leave a question, go ahead and leave a question in the comments. We will get to those and answer them.
Also, follow us on Instagram at
Uh,
Froyo McNugget and at
and
Joe
Joe,
dot
nope,
underscore dot
underscore
show.
dot show with no W.
Correct.
Yeah, I'll put it in the description again.
It'll be in the
But we got
description.
this question from Masonite Shadow. What are your guys' favorite video games, and how do you think video games will progress in the future? So let's start off by taking the first part of the question. What's your guys' favorite video games? So I have a
Favorite
couple
video
different favorite
games, multiple?
games.
Okay,
It does say games,
that's good.
multiple,
You
and
know
so
what we should
I
do?
do have multiple. What?
We should real quick. No, that would take too long. Never mind. I was gonna say we could name our favorite games from certain systems because I feel like that plays a big part for me. Like I have one
See,
game from each system.
yeah, mine's even more like intense than that. I was gonna say like favorite type of game
Oh,
because there's a
favorite
bunch of
type of
different
game.
types of game. Like you got your single player adventure, you got your online multiplayer, you got your RPGs, you got your JRPGs,
Yeah,
all
see,
these
for
different types
me,
of games.
I'm pretty about even in all genres. Like I'll play anything for the most part.
Yeah, I'll play almost anything except for a very slow. turn-based game, like RPG or
Oh
JRPG.
yeah,
There is one
turn-based. I
JRPG.
hate those.
There's one JRPG that I love like crazy, and that would be Persona 5. That
Mhm.
is a great game, and highly recommend anyone. Not anyone, but I highly recommend people to play it if they have a
Everyone
PS4.
play it, whether you're
No,
90 or you're
no,
4
it's
months
got
old.
it's got some pretty intense themes.
Oh,
So
so just if you're 90, 90 and up.
yes, 90 and up. But that would probably be my favorite JRPG. But JRPG is not my favorite type of game.
You want to do favorite games within genres?
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Okay, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so you pick a genre
So
first.
and then we'll okay. How about single player campaigns? So games
Single
that
player
focus mainly on
campaigns.
like the single player campaign.
Um, um, See, I was gonna say Spider-Man PS4,
Yeah.
but at the same time, Legend of Zelda also gets looped in single player.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm gonna have to say Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Yeah.
That
Very
is my
solid. Very solid.
that is my favorite. It is the
Okay.
best.
Okay. Yeah. For me, I don't know. It kind of changes for me. I feel because
That tends to happen with video games because like
yeah,
it's
yeah. Like
the
I
new one
can't
comes
stick with
out.
one favorite.
Yeah, but I mean Wind Waker's a classic, so I'm able to stick
Right.
with
Right.
that.
So for me, I'm a little biased for this one. I'm not going to say it's my favorite, but it's definitely the one that I have had the most fun with in a long time. It'd be God of War. I just finished it today, actually.
What is it?
God of War.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah, such a good game,
I have not
but
played that.
worth playing.
Oh, sweet.
Very worth playing. Um, I would also say Spider-Man would be up there too, but probably my favorite one is a very niche, unknown one, and that would be a story about my uncle. There's no combat. There's no nothing interesting. It's just first-person platforming where
Hmm.
you play, and as you're playing, the narration is a dad telling his daughter a bedtime story, and it's like you're jumping from rock to rock, and what you're doing is what the father is telling the daughter is
Uh,
happening, and it's just it's so charming, and the gameplay is a lot of fun. You get this special like suit that makes you jump super high, and you got like grappling hook. It it's
that sounds
just
interesting.
it's a very short game, but it was so charming, and it just kind of grabbed me instantly because I love movement in video games.
Hmm.
I've probably said that before, probably not on the podcast though.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you pick a genre?
I'm trying to think of genres. Um, First person shooter.
First person shooter?
Yeah.
We're talking online or
I feel like any. Let's just say
okay.
any, like online.
So let's see the I'm
Like
gonna
so.
I'm gonna pick two different ones for this one. I think the
Okay.
one with the best game mechanics would probably be Titanfall 2.
Okay. I haven't played
That
that
one
one.
that has solid game mechanics. It's fun to play. It's enjoyable. But I think the one that's most special to me would be Team Fortress 2.
Oh yeah, we need to play more of that. I haven't played it much.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I Yep. I'm a gamer, guys. I'm gonna say probably
Call of Duty.
yes, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Either World War II, because that was really fun. I always was like, whenever I played the other ones, I was like, these would be really cool if you could play these games, but like old wars, because it was always like Modern Warfare or Black Ops, and it's like either
Right.
current,
Right.
like recent military kind of weapons, or like they upgrade to futuristic for like advanced warfare or something. But I was like, I want to go back to simpler times, World War II, and shoot some Nazis. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so either World War II or I'd have to say Black Ops 2, which is the best. Black Ops or any of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have to say those would be my favorite. I don't play much first-person shooters, if anything else. Yeah.
All right. Okay. How about this one? Fighting games.
Fighting games, dude. You know I'm about to play.
I think it's obvious for both of us.
Nothing can beat Smash Bros. And I'm even gonna say,
Mhm.
I mean, Ultimate is great, but I mean, you can't beat Melee.
See, that's where I'm conflicted because sure, Melee's skill ceiling is higher, but also I just don't think it's as good a game.
I feel like, actually, let me be fair.
Okay.
Ultimate is better. Melee is. Wait, am I getting the right one? That's the GameCube one.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I don't want to accidentally like start talking about Brawl like it's the best one. 'Cause it sucks. But anyway, so Melee, I
Only
feel like is
parts of it suck.
more nostalgic for me. I think that's one of the reasons why I really like it is because it's nostalgic.
Yeah.
So
But that's where you get that's where the opinion comes in,
yeah,
right? It's just your opinion in that case.
that's just my
For my
opinion.
in my opinion, the best one is Ultimate.
Yeah,
I think each game has its problems. The first three games, it was simply because you couldn't balance anything. So like in
um,
64, top tier is Kirby, and that's because you got 6 jumps and super fast moves. And then he's bottom tier in Melee,
yeah,
where wave dashing wasn't really ever intended. It just kind of happened. Like the developers knew it was there, but they didn't realize that it would become such a big thing, and they didn't bother taking it out.
yeah,
And after they sold a bunch of copies, they can't change it now because everyone has it.
yeah,
With Brawl, the biggest problem was they made it more casual,
yeah,
but it wasn't really a horrible thing. It was a great casual fighter. Like it's just fun for people to play. It was slower than the rest, so it gave newer people time to get used to it.
yeah. I will say actually, Brawl has
Brawl
some
gets
things that I do like.
Brawl gets a lot of flack, and I'll admit I was one of those people that was like, "Hey, Brawl sucks." But
Yeah,
I realized that it has its moments, like Subspace Emissary. Everyone loves
I
Subspace
actually really love
Emissary.
Subspace Emissary. Also, they
Everyone
that
loves
was
it.
the game that added one of my favorite characters to use and play, which is Pokemon Trainer. When they took him out of uh, the Wii U
For
version, I was like, "Come on, guys, come on!" And then they
But
put him
hey,
back
they
in
made
for
a
Ultimate, and I was like, "Yes, my boy."
not only did they put him back in, but they also made him like top tier.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think the thing I didn't like about Brawl is because I'd always play it with people, and like other places. Like when I was at
Hmm.
home and I played it with people, it was fine because I could plug in my GameCube controller, and that's what I was used to. But when I would go
Right.
to other people's houses, I'd have to use Wii remotes, which I did not care for.
No, no.
And I was like, I had to lug my GameCube controller everywhere if there was even a hint of playing Brawl.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, next genre. Wait, did you say yours? Yours is probably Smash Bros, right?
Yeah, but
Ultimate. Okay.
I do want to give a shout out to a couple others because I like fighting games as a whole. So I do want to mention a couple other honorable mentions.
For sure. Totally. Go for it.
So new one that just came out pretty recently, not super new, but Dragon Ball Fighters Z.
Ooh. Yeah.
That is a very good game. Now, what I think is great about it is how most 2D fighters like Street Fighter, Tekken, King of Fighters, they feel slow. They feel sluggish in comparison to things like Smash Bros. And other platform fighters. That's not the case with Dragon Ball Fighters. This is a very fast-paced game, and you don't have a lot of time to stop and think. Yeah, kind of just have to go for it. And it's very combo intensive, which is, I think, the biggest turn away for people. Like, they like all these characters that are super powerful and whatnot, but you have to learn a bunch of combos. Like the basic combo, this is the basic combo. You have to do down, medium, medium, forward jump, light, medium, down, heavy, forward jump, light, medium, down, heavy, rush, land, level 3 super. That's the basic combo of the game. That's one of the simplest combos you can do.
I kind of just blacked out while you were saying that. That's a lot.
Yeah, and that's the simplest combo.
The simplest combo?
Simplest combo you could do.
If the combo is more than 2 buttons, it's not simple.
It's your bread and butter. That's the bread and butter of that game.
Crazy.
All right, do you got another genre for me?
Trying to think of genres that I've actually played a good amount of games. I was gonna say like survival horror, but I've played like 2 games in that, and I don't know if you've played any of those games.
Yeah, the only survival horror game that I've played is Half-Life Alyx.
Is what? Oh,
Half-Life
Half-Life
Alyx.
Alyx, yeah. Trying to think of
Maybe we just
game
move
genre.
on. Maybe we just move on.
Fair
The
enough.
other
Yeah,
half
let's
of the
move on.
question.
Oh,
Other half of
another
the question. Right. It was, where do you think games will go in the future?
Better or worse? I don't really
Like,
know.
what's the progression?
I mean,
I guess
we're
I
leaning
kind
a
of have.
lot towards VR.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if that's actually the future of gaming.
True.
So, like I said, I just finished God of War, and God of War actually does something really interesting. This is just because it's super fresh in my mind. That's why I'm talking about it so much. It doesn't use loading screens, which you don't see very often in most AAA first person campaign, third person.
Yeah, because you kind of like need loading screens to load the game.
Right, but it does this brilliant thing where it hides loading screens. So you know those parts in video games where you have to like sidle across a ledge and your camera's kind of stuck in one position, or you have to like squeeze through things or duck under things and go through like a small opening in a cave?
Yeah.
It uses those moments where you're slowed down to a crawl to load the next area of the level and deload the previous area.
That's actually really smart.
It really is, and just, honestly, I can't wait to see more games do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I think video games will progress in the future is telling a good story that isn't broken apart by loading screens.
Yeah.
Another
Well,
thing,
I do enjoy loading screens because that's when I can shove a bunch of chips in my mouth and then chew while I play the next part of the game. I mean, this is backbreaking
it's delicious, right?
Gotta regenerate your fuel.
What's another point of a video game that I think would? Oh, that's right. Storytelling. So you know how like stories in the game, they're pretty good most of the time.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it depends on the
they
game, but yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like not a ton of games do great storytelling. Again, I'm going to talk about God of War. The storytelling in that is amazing. Um, if you don't know the God of War, you play as Kratos, and you're with your son. Boy, he says boy a lot, but you're with your son, and as you're just kind of walking around the world, they'll just talk to each other, and like that those are real. They become real people to you. Like they don't become these weird characters on a screen. They're like they walk around, they talk about what's happening in the story, what's happening in the world. If you go on a side quest, like Kratos doesn't want to do any side quests, but his son does because he wants to help people.
Yeah.
And so you go on side quests, and when you're doing the side quests, the boy is like, "Hey, Dad, I thought you didn't want to go on these side quests." And he's like, "I'm only doing these because we're gathering resources for the coming journey." And you're like, "That's believable. That's like something he would say."
Yeah.
I think in more and more games, the whole having a partner will become more and more prevalent. At least I
Yeah.
hope it will. Having a partner in your game that isn't annoying. I'm going to say that.
Mm.
Like in
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda, you get a bunch of partners that are they're kind of there, but they're never like there. They're just kind of there to help you play and learn the game and teach you how to do things.
Yeah.
Which that isn't fun. That's not fun.
True.
Games are much better when they let you figure out how to do things.
Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes I would have to agree and disagree because
Okay.
I've played games before where there are no instructions, and it's like, cool. I just wasted a whole hour trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do.
Hmm.
So, I mean, some instruction is good, but yeah,
Right.
being allowed to solve some stuff for yourself is good.
Yeah. Like so I wouldn't say no instruction. I'm gonna rephrase what I said. I wouldn't say no instruction. I would say hidden instruction. There's a surprising amount of hidden instruction in a lot of games.
Yeah.
So let's see. Some ways games do hidden instructions is maybe show you how something works during a cutscene when it's not the main focus. Other times it's just things happening to like predetermined events in the story. Like as you're playing the game, you see something happen and you realize, oh, I can do something similar to that, like shooting through glass, or I don't know. There's other things, but I think games with hidden tutorials are the best types of games. Not
Yeah.
games that bring up big old text boxes for you to read, but like you just see something happen and you're like, oh, I can do that too.
Yeah.
Or yeah, there's a lot of examples that I can't think of right now.
Yeah. Definitely. All right.
And now something for our non-gaming viewers, perhaps.
Yes. I was like, should we do a fun one or another one that'll probably have us talking for a while? So
Let's do a
we
fun
talked
one.
about that one. Let's do a fun one. This
Yeah,
comes from super underscore schmool. uh, is well, it says is hot dog taco.
hot
I
dog
think he means to say
taco.
is hot dog taco. Is hot dog a taco?
Uh, I'm gonna have to go with a no.
See, I once heard somebody talk about this for quite a while, but I
I,
can't
I
remember what their conclusion came to.
I think I had to go with a no
Really?
yeah,
Why? Why? Just humor me. Why?
because they're not the same thing. It's not the same style of food. It, it's like so a hot dog is a processed chunk of meat that's held together by I don't even know what.
Yeah.
It's just sitting in white bread. Whereas a taco is, it's beef, of course. Or, well, it could be chicken. It can be lots of different things. Like, a taco is not taken to one type of meat like a hot dog is. Okay, there are
True.
some other forms of hot dogs, yes. But you never see it in any other form than the long wiener dogs.
Yeah.
And then the taco is all like separated meat. It's like either like the chicken's pulled apart, or it's ground beef, or it's cut up steak, and then it's wrapped in a flour or corn tortilla. which a tortilla is made in a completely different way than a hot
Bun.
dog bun.
Yeah. I'm going to have to agree because I just did the research, highly intensive research.
Oh, good.
I looked at the definition of a taco and the definition of a hot dog.
Oh, good call.
Yeah. So, first off, the definition of a taco is a Mexican dish consisting of a fried tortilla, typically folded, filled with various mixtures such as seasoned meat, beans, lettuce, and tomatoes. And that
Mm-hmm.
seems very descriptive of a taco. Like it's obviously a taco.
Yep, obviously.
Hot dog is a Frankfurter, especially when served hot in a long, soft roll and topped with various condiments. Those sound very different. There are
Yep,
no gray areas, so we can
not
definitively
even close.
determine for the entire world that hot dog, not a taco.
You heard it here first, kids. Here on CBS,
If you
tacos
made
are
it,
not hot
if
dogs.
you made it 26 minutes into the podcast,
Remember, these timestamps
highly
aren't necessarily accurate. We took like a bit of
okay,
time.
okay, fine. If
Anywhere
you made it
between
this
25 and 27 minutes.
if you made it this far into the podcast, you now are smarter than everyone because you know hot dog is not taco. And taco is not hot dog.
Thanks for that question, super underscore schmool.
Good question. Clearing up the airwaves. All right. Do we want to go with do we want to use up all of our real person questions now?
I think we
I've
could,
got I've got one more question from a real person.
maybe we want to save that one for last? Let's save that one for
Uh,
last.
I mean, it might take us a while to answer.
Well, we'll do it like 10 minutes before last. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sounds
Um,
good.
is there anything in the news that you've seen recently that just upset you?
Um, I mean, I don't know if we want to really get into it, but
Okay, you know what? It's mostly just COVID junk that's happened in the
it
news
is.
that upsets me.
It is.
I don't really want to talk about that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, if it was something else, I might talk about it, but mainly the thing that upsets me has to do with our governor, which has to do with Corona. So, which we've already made a rule: no Corona talk.
No
It's from
Corona
a
talk. I don't know if we said that on the podcast last time, but no
I
Corona
think
talk.
I think we did. I think we did say that. So,
Well, if we didn't, we said it now.
we said it now. Um, yeah. So, do you have a question? I have another question, not from a real person, but
Okay, go for
um, what two films would you like to combine into one?
it. Two films that I want to combine into one. I feel like that's just a bad idea.
How is this a bad idea? You could put
Oh wait, no, I got it. I got it. I got it.
no, he's got it.
Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2. Done.
You just ruined a fun question.
I'd rather have a 4-hour movie than a 2-hour two 2-hour movies that aren't as good as they could be.
Well, don't expect me to say Hunger Games, whatever the last two were combined, because there's the only other ones that I can think of that were split up. Um, okay, so I guess move questions because you're not taking this seriously.
That was seriously.
This is a dumb answer. Come on, dude. You know what
Okay,
the answer's
okay.
supposed to be.
We can come up with different ones. Come up with different ones.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I don't care.
I don't really feel like thinking through movies right now.
Okay,
That's the biggest thing.
that's fair. I'll move on to another question. You got one?
Um, I'm trying to find a different topic generator that
I went for conversation starters. Um,
If you got one, go for it.
All right, here's a pretty deep one. What impression do you try to give when you first meet someone?
Friendly.
Yeah, I see that. I see that.
Like non obtrusive. Is that the word? I don't want to be
Intrusive?
intrusive. Uh, I just don't want to be overbearing, like crazy, super friendly right off the bat. But I also don't want to be cold right off the bat. I just want to be a person.
You just want to
Like it
be
sounds kind of lame.
you want to be a person?
I just want to.
Are you sometimes not? Never mind. I retract the question.
You don't want to go there.
Yeah. I already know the answer to that. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'd have to say, first impression, probably like likable and funny. I like people to like me. It's not like a
Mm-hmm.
need for people to like me. I just enjoy it when people like me, so that I'm not annoying them. Because I hate that's what I hate. I hate annoying people. So it's kind of like what you were saying. Like you don't want to be intrusive or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So yeah,
Yeah, I
I
just want to be likable off the bat, basically.
yeah. I may not need people to like me, but I have the need for people to think I'm funny. So that rarely happens. Um,
Yeah.
next question.
Hey, I got one.
All right, go for it.
Um, when was the last time you changed your opinion about something major? So I know we're doing something about opinions, so we might as well talk about changing opinions. What was the last time you changed your opinion about something major?
A couple minutes ago when I said brawl wasn't that bad. No.
Uh,
Hmm. That's a tough one because you got to like think through life experiences. Wait, ask the question again.
when was the last time you changed your opinion about something major?
Last time I changed my opinion about something major.
I'm trying to say something that I'm not like because I keep talking about anime and video games, and those are the things I have the biggest opinions about. I don't want to keep talking about those, but those are the only things I have opinions about.
I mean, we can't pretend that we know about anything else. So, oh,
All
um,
right. I don't know when this was. I think it was in the past year or something. But I realized how garbage One Piece is. The anime One Piece.
oh, I thought you were just like talking about like bathing suits.
No, 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 no. The anime One Piece.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
No.
um,
Oh gosh.
yeah. I can't think of something like something that I changed my opinion on. I don't tend to change my opinion unless I'm very
Okay.
severely proven wrong.
I'm gonna say something. It's gonna be like an unpopular opinion, basically.
Okay.
But for the first last this past Christmas break, I saw Les Mis for the first time, and I was pretty excited to see it. But the only problem was I didn't care for it that much.
Huh.
Like, sure, it was good, but like, it's a musical that I wouldn't want to be in. Like,
That's really
I
funny
don't.
because you just saying that reminded me of I had the exact opposite thing.
Oh yeah.
I tried to listen to it a long time ago and I just didn't care for it. So I was just like I didn't care for it, but I talked to people about it and they're like you have to see it. Like it's just, it's understandable if you don't like it. Some people were not as nice. Um
There's always those people that are like, if you don't like this thing that I like, I will kill you or never be your friend ever again. And I'm just
That or
like,
they just don't understand. They're like, how do you not like this?
it's
I've
called opinions. You
I've been
see,
that way sometimes with people. I'm like, how do you not like this? I
I
try.
try my best not to be that
Yeah,
way.
I've tried to be like, I remind myself when somebody has a differing opinion than me. I'm just like, people have opinions, just our opinion, you know.
They're allowed to have opinions. It's
Well,
okay.
I said it, guys. I said just our opinions. This
It's
is
just our opinion. You don't even
what
worry about it.
but yeah, I'd say I was excited to see Les Mis. Um, it helped that I had already seen the guy that was uh, Valjean. He played
Oh yeah.
Phantom like a year before the time I went to go see Phantom. So it was mainly most of it, like half of it was I wanted to see him. The other half was like I want to give it a try in person
Hmm.
and see if I like it there. Now I like it. I still haven't listened to it, but I know that I like it.
Hmm.
I just haven't tried to find a recording that I liked. But
I don't know. It
I
just
understand since I came from the other way, I understand how you could not care for it.
like I'm not saying it's bad either. Like it's a great musical, even I would say. But I just personally didn't care for it. Yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea. I don't think I'm a big fan of operettes in general. Like
A
just
big fan of what?
operettes, ones that are just all
Operetta.
singing.
Yeah. Well, that would be an opera. An operetta is mostly singing.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, theater nerd coming out right there.
Yeah, that's okay.
Theater
I thought it was basically the same thing.
They're
Um,
close. I mean, opera like the I think the thing that takes an opera and makes it an operetta is if they say a word that's not sung. And I think there's like that's why Les Mis falls under operetta is because there's like
okay.
two words that are spoken and not sung.
Yeah,
Same with
yeah,
Phantom of the Opera. Well, Phantom of the Opera they talk a little bit more,
yeah.
but it's mostly singing. So,
All right. How about we move on to our next question? Do you have a question, or I have
um,
another one too?
I thought I had one, but now that I'm looking at it, um, I was getting really philosophical with it. It's what would make the world more interesting if it was a different color?
uh, plants.
See, I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, dogs or like any kind of animal or something. But now that I think about it, if like from the beginning of the world that was a different color than it is now,
It really
it
wouldn't
wouldn't be
change.
interesting to us because we'd be like, oh yeah, that's normal. Dogs are supposed to
I
be
think
pink.
I think it would be super cool if all like leaves and plants and everything were white.
Really?
Yeah, like grass, leaves, plants. If they were all white, I think that'd just be so cool.
Huh. I'm
See, okay, I
visualizing it
love
and it seems really weird to me.
it would seem weird, but I love the look of snow covering everything.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that I would like the idea of just white
Yeah.
covering like all the leaves and everything because it would be kind of like having a layer of snow at all times.
True. I'm with you on the liking of snow covering everything. But at the
Hmm.
same time, I also like the different seasons. Spring I'd have to say is my least favorite because it doesn't feel different at all. But that's just maybe because I live in Michigan where the weather is
Okay,
crazy.
so that's the thing. In Michigan, it's always wet, no matter what the season you're in. Well, I think like there
I mean,
maybe like
summer,
3 weeks, 3 weeks in the summer where it's not wet. But as soon as we hit fall again, it starts raining,
yeah.
and it's just like, oh, lake effect rain is the worst kind of rain.
Yeah. That's why, I mean, I love winter and then summer is pretty cool too because I like all the green
Mhm.
and just the colors and stuff there. And everybody's like,
Yeah.
I love fall. And I'm like, I love fall everywhere but Michigan. Michigan is horrible.
Fall in Michigan is just brown and wet.
Yeah.
It's like diarrhea.
It's not even like the pretty fall colors a lot of places. It's
No,
just
it's really
it's
not.
brown mud.
It's like it. things die, and then the next day they're off the trees. Like they turn brown and then they're off the trees. You never get that pretty red color for longer than maybe 2 days.
Yeah. Anyway, what was your question?
My question is, what's something you wish you'd figured out sooner?
Um,
Something you'd figured out sooner.
hmm.
That I was trash at video games.
That's a good one. If you're
But
trash,
there's
if
definitely
you're
more.
not though,
Well, I
you would
was
still
though. Like
destroy me.
when I was younger, I was like, man, I'm so good at video games. But then realize as I got older, I'm like, wow, I'm
Trash.
bad. I'm bad in comparison to people that are good.
Something I wish I realized earlier. Um,
Oh, I got a really good one. I got a really good one.
go for it.
Something that I wish I'd figured out sooner. How fun HPA is.
Dude, I was gonna go with that, like something to do with acting, but like I've done that my whole life.
Right.
So
Well, you see, I didn't. I did a different one. His players here in Battle Creek,
right.
and then I waited like 2 years before I did HPA when I could have started doing
Worst mistake in your life.
HPA. I know it was the worst mistake in my life.
If you had done it earlier, we would have been
We could have been friends
sooner.
sooner.
Because the year before you came in was Hello Dolly. Great year.
That wasn't the year before I came in. That was the year I came in. I was just
Oh
in
no, right.
Secret
That's
Garden.
because you came to Secret Garden. That's right.
Yep.
Well, you were in the wrong show. We could have been friends earlier.
Well, I'm sorry, but the one friend that I had in HPA was doing Secret Garden, so I did that one.
That's fair. Still stupid.
I know,
Um,
right?
yeah. Well, then that wouldn't have mattered because I wasn't in it the year before. um, but 2 years that could have worked out.
Yeah.
Something I wish I had known earlier.
Or
Sooner.
figured out sooner.
Figured out sooner. Um. Oh, that my haircut for the longest time was terrible. I
Like
basically had
like when you were younger and
yeah,
the bangs like curled
I
in.
basically had like a bowl cut, but not.
Oh yeah.
I let my
Oh yeah.
because my hair falls in like a bowl cut, like just straight down all
Mm-hmm.
around my head. So if my hair grows out, it just covers my eyeballs, and I would split it out of the way. If it got to where it covered my glasses, I would split it so that it sat on either side of my glasses. And I
Well,
was a huge dork. I'm still a dork, but not as bad.
but you're a cute dork
I
now.
I'm a suave dork.
Cute.
I take time and I do my hair. We're far enough in the podcast. I want
Heckin'
people to
adorable.
hear this. My hair now looks great because I spend so much time on it. And
My hair's always looked
I wear
perfect.
suits. We have pictures of me. My fashion style has greatly grown over the years because we have a picture of me where I was just like, I'm gonna wear this. I had plaid shorts and a striped polo shirt on,
Oh,
and
very good, very
I
good.
thought that was fine. I was like, what? This is totally fine. What's wrong with you?
Can we just agree that all kids have terrible fashion sense?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Like me as a kid.
When you're really young, it's adorable because you're like,
Oh yeah.
oh, they picked out their own clothes.
They
That's
dress
hilarious. And then
themselves.
you
They
get
they
to an
got they
age where
got
it's
their
like
plaid.
just listen to your parents when they tell you what to wear.
Yeah.
They know what's best.
They know better.
I mean, I wish yeah. I think that's another thing. I guess it's not a thing I wish I knew earlier because I think I knew it, but
Hmm.
I didn't. I don't think I liked it earlier. Suits are awesome. I wish. I mean, I did want suits when I was younger, but I wish I pushed for them more, man.
Yeah.
Suits. Man, they're awesome.
Suits are cool, but they're not comfortable for me. I haven't gotten a suit that's tailored perfect for me yet.
Sometimes it doesn't take that, but you got to find the right fit.
But you see, that's the
I
thing.
went
You have a much more. See, Jordan, you have a much more normal body type than I do.
thick. Yes, I know. Um, thicker than a quasian. You know what I'm saying?
Classian. Oh yeah. Um, I'm over here tall and spindly, and they don't make like cheap suits. You have to like get them specifically tailored for that height.
That is true. Definitely tailored suits would definitely fit anyone better, even me. But
Of course, but
just
the
going
basic
out there and
suit style will fit you much better than it will fit
trying,
me.
yeah, and like trying to find, like actually try and find good stuff. Because we used to like we would settle, and I finally reached a point where it's like I need like good clothes, and I did, and I have a really nice suit
Mhm.
now, and I look sharp as heck.
Okay. Well, let's keep moving on.
Yeah,
Let's keep
keep
going on
moving.
with questions. You got another one, or do you want to go with another one of mine?
This one's good.
Okay.
Uh, what word or saying from the past do you think should come back?
Oh, oh, what was it? Oh man, I feel like I remember one.
I let me
I'm
tell a short story real quick while you think.
all right,
So
all right.
I, because of reasons that I don't want to get into right now because that would take too long to explain, I had to take chemistry a year early. So I took chemistry last year for my sophomore year, and for this year, my junior year, I took biology. So I took them out of order because usually you take biology then chemistry. So I have in my biology class now kids. I'm the oldest because I'm at least a whole year, if not more, older than these kids. Now, a year and a half or like 2 years, that doesn't seem really old. But now I was in class and I was like, um, I felt really discriminated against because they made me feel way older than I should have felt. Just some of the phrases and stuff I say and the things that I do, they found really
Hmm.
and were like, "What?" I tend to say dope. You know this, Joey. I'll be like,
Oh yeah,
that's dope, bro.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they're just like, did you just say dope? I'm like, yeah. They're like, who even says that anymore? I'm like, my generation. But what's funny is we're the same generation, so that doesn't work. I'm like, how are you guys not using dope anymore?
Right.
Like 2 years, you're not using dope, or even a year. Crazy.
Okay, I got a great story
Dope should
involving.
come back. Anyway, carry on.
I got a great story involving the word dope, and this comes from my older brother actually, who also did HPA, and it was while he was at HPA. So basically, my older brother would also say dope quite often around just wherever he went, and he said it multiple times. And there's one kid at HPA that didn't like it because he's kind of a sheltered dude and was like, when he hears dope, it's a drug reference, and
There are those people.
there are those people. But it finally got to one point where like he said it once, and like the dude turns to him and says, "Can you please stop making drug references around me?" And he's just like, "Okay, all right, you don't have to go that far."
People, man, they're crazy.
Okay, so I think ankle biter should make a comeback.
I'm sorry, ankle biter?
Ankle biter. Apparently, around the 50s, people would call like little kids ankle biters.
That should definitely come back. Um,
And apparently, it was the baby boomers that the boomers were the ones that were the being called ankle biters.
crazy to think about that.
Whew. All right,
Um,
let's go with another question. Let's keep moving.
should we go with our real person question?
I got one quick one, and then we'll
Okay,
wrap it up with
sounds
a
good.
final question. Um, what issue will you always speak your mind about? I actually have one already. I've already thought of one because
Okay,
I saw
you
this
you go
question
ahead,
for a long time.
and I will sit back and then I will give mine. So go ahead.
So I would say entitled people. Honestly, I can't stand entitled people.
Oh yeah.
People that think the world just revolves around them. People go into the store and they're like, "Can I have your place in line? Because I'm a mother of three and I need your place in line, even though you only have 2 items and I have 40."
Yeah.
You're just like,
Joey, this sounds like a very personal thing that you're describing. This happened to you recently?
It has not. Thankfully, I've never encountered people like that, but I have been on Reddit a lot reading the entitled people subreddit.
So you're just getting charged up.
I get angry reading it.
That's yeah.
It just makes me so upset when people think the world revolves around them and they're like, everyone that works at a supermarket is lower than them because they have such a wonderful, like, spouse that pays for all their stuff so they don't have to work.
Yeah. Or they just, whatever reason it is, there's some people just think they deserve better. When
And they don't.
honestly, not all of us deserve the same, and that's horrible stuff. Um,
I think we can wrap it up. Well, oh yeah, that's right. You have to give yours too.
I have to give mine. Come on,
I'm
dude.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'll let you speak. Okay, go ahead.
So what I
All
get
right. If you're
fired
not
up
going to
is
speak, you better not. You can stop talking now. If you weren't going to say anything, you don't have to say it.
I'm gonna say it.
Okay, you can say it.
I hate it when people don't let me say my thing.
Oh yeah, I hate that too.
I'm
Like
just
when
kidding.
people take over what I'm trying to say. When people are like, just take over your sentence in the middle of it when they're like, hey, I'm gonna say that I dislike this thing, and then they're out like, oh, hey, whoa, I don't like that either, so I'm not gonna let that happen, so I'm gonna do it to you, right?
Okay, no, I'm gonna give my real answer. I get fired up when anybody hints, or even flat out says it. Some people have flat out said it to me. Um, just the over obsession of sports and um, the shameful, downcast looks they cast on art, whether that be theater or any other form of art.
Hmm.
Um, because they definitely look down on it more. Um, just because people don't play sports and they don't like sports or something.
Right.
I actually wrote a whole paper on this for one of my advanced essay classes this year. I'll give you the highlights. No, I just talked about um, how sports are usually thrown on such a high pedestal,
Right.
and that includes like athletes. Like if you're an athlete, like you get the world, no matter how big or small your world is. Like you get
Hmm.
the whole thing, and
Here's what
how
here's what I think.
yeah.
I'm just gonna say this one
Why
quick
don't you
thing.
interrupt me and tell me what you think?
I'm sorry. I'm
I'm
sorry.
kidding. I'm kidding.
It's
Go ahead.
just it's relevant. I think that teachers should be paid like athletes are paid, and athletes should be paid what teachers are paid. So just flip it around.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what I was talking about. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, yeah, definitely, I agree with that. Um, Also, yeah, to continue what I was saying, yeah. No, you made a good point. I don't want to be like, come on, man. Um, but yeah, but like part of like the thing that I wrote about was just that um not even because when I start talking about this, some people will shoot me down and be like, "Well, you just think that theater should be put on a high pedestal." No, I think we should treat them equally respectfully, like because some people like sports and some people
Hmm.
like theater and some people like both, and not just theater, like art in general, like painting or dancing or
Dude, especially dancing.
any of those things. But yeah, but they treat people who like sports or athletes, um, they treat um, artists with such disrespect that it's just infuriating sometimes. Like they just they assume that the things that artists do, like in the theater and stuff like that, is lesser because they think it's not as physically draining. They're like, well, you
Oh,
know, they're like, I'm gonna, somebody has to run an entire football field. That's crazy. Well, yeah, that is crazy, and I probably couldn't do it. But at the same time, a football player probably couldn't come on stage and dance a big old number while singing. And it's theater. There's different. It's like with everything. There's different skill sets, and nothing is lesser or greater. Um, so we should just treat it the same.
man,
Because like
you
even if you're not a dancer, like you're still maybe a singer. Like singers, like that's a different physical thing. Like they don't have to exercise their arms and their legs as much, but they have to memorize mouth and throat placement and then uh, exercise their lungs, or a and their mind to like
Jordan.
memorize things. Same with like
Hey,
just
hey,
actors;
Jordan.
they have to memorize blocking and lines and stuff like that. So
Hey, Jordan.
yeah,
Hey, Jordan.
yeah.
I could tell this is an issue that you get very heated about because you just went on like a full 2-minute rant there. I
Sorry,
was just kind of sitting there
just my
quietly.
opinion. Should I just read my paper? I have it here somewhere.
No, no. Okay, let's do the final question
All right,
and let's
final
end this
question,
thing.
which is funny because we just talked about theater, and this is about theater.
Okay.
Um, this comes from Katie Stone Media. I want to hear about you guys and your acting. What's your method? Share experience.
Oof. Oof.
Um,
Here, let me give you a break. You
yeah,
you were talking a lot there.
I need to breathe.
Just
Hold on, let me
take a
get
sit
some water.
down. Take a sip. I'm gonna take a sip of water too.
Well, we can't both take a sip of water. They can't be dead air.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
talking now. You can take a sip of water. But let's see. Acting experience. I haven't had a whole lot of speaking roles in acting, but I've always let's see. There was the most beneficial acting thing that I ever got to do was in Annie, Little Orphan Annie, um, as Lieutenant Ward. And this was the biggest thing about it. So if you know me, or if you don't know me, I'll tell you about me right now. I'm a very moving person. I constantly am moving. When I'm talking, my hands are moving.
Are your
I'm
hands
not
moving right
standing
now?
still. Yes, they are. But with Lieutenant Ward, I had to throw all that out the window. Like the directors wanted me to be stock still, unmoving, almost emotionless in my face. So this is basically how it went down when I was first like working out how to play the character. Basically, the director, this was Mrs. Pletcher. Wait, I can call her CJ.
Ah!
This is when CJ and I,
What?
it was just us, and she was like, "All right, I love the director so much. She's like, all right, so I want you to give me the scene. However, I don't want you to move any part of your body except for your mouth and give me just as much emotion in your words." And I was like, okay. I was terrified of doing this because I was like, I've never talked without moving before. So I stand still and I'm like holding myself as rigid as possible. And I still like my eyebrows still go up and down as I'm talking, and like I keep moving my like neck. I turn my head a couple times, and she's like, "All right, it was pretty good, but I want you to stand completely still. Like, do not move at all. Don't turn your head. Don't move your eyebrows. Don't adjust your watch. Don't do any of that. Just stand straight up and down and give me your lines.
Yeah.
And I think that was the most beneficial thing because it was the first time I had to act like completely out of my natural character. Every other character that I played after or before that, I got to play in somewhat of a me style.
Yeah.
I was never forced to stand still in any of my characters before that. Because let's see, before that, in my other company, I was a lost boy at one point, and that was a lot of fun. And I got to be just stupid and mess around.
Yeah, that's very active role.
Very active, stupid, mess around, goof around, do basically whatever you want as long as it's not taking away from the main focus of the scene. But that was probably the most beneficial for me. But my favorite one to act as was probably Checo, the pirate.
I was gonna say
But that was just because
that
I
was
was with other people. When I was with all the pirates, it felt good. I felt like a pirate with all my pirate buddies because I knew all these guys and we've been working for half a year on
dude
this.
Checo, dude. You were just
I go
You
back.
are just Checo. Like that's you. It's crazy.
It's so good.
Yeah, I have to say for me, um, one of my, I guess you could call it a method, something that really helps me in acting. I mean, first off, anything directors suggest. Like I'm still learning so much from the
Mhm.
directors and such. Like with HPA and even outside of HPA, um, any input I get from them is just so helpful because I learn so many different things. But one of the methods that helps me that I don't really have to do outwardly, but as long as I keep it in my head, um, is just knowing or creating a history for the character. Um, I mean, this works whether you're a leader in an ensemble. I have a lot of time to practice it as an ensemble member, um, which sometimes it's even easier when you are an ensemble member because you can just make up your own history for that character. Um,
Right.
where with a lead, you have more boundaries of where it can go
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But still, you either make it up or you learn it. Sometimes you may play a historical character or somebody based off a historical character or just somebody that's a character that needs to be researched more. Or you just play an ensemble role that uh, needs a history. Because if you just play a character and the only information you give that character and its life is what happens in that scene, it's going to feel very one sided, not very full of life at all. But I mean, I've been told that the background characters that I play are just people enjoy watching them, and this isn't a brag or anything. Humble brag, guys.
Oh no.
Um, no, they enjoy
I
watching
love watching you.
me. Uh, they see the life that I can bring to the character because a character doesn't have life if the only life that you're giving it is taken from that scene. If you're playing a character that's like, say you're like, okay, this character says they're 22. I can't give them 5 minutes of life. I have to give them 22 years of life that they've had. You kind of make a history, and
Mhm.
and it's different for everybody because I know some people who do this that don't do it as much as I do. Me, I think of life events, why they do this thing, something that happened in their past that leads them to doing this. Like I was just this past winter, and not yes, this past winter. It feels so long ago.
Oh, yeah.
I was in a production of Elf, and while I was ensemble, but I had a character with a name. So it gave me some parameters, but I was able to come up with uh, I was like, well, I know that the script kind of tells me he's a writer, so I'll come up with like his schooling, like how he became a writer, what his age is, like how I'll act, and really that's the most helpful thing for me in one of my methods.
Mhm.
So that I've talked forever.
Right. Let's quick recap of both of our points. Basically, for me, like I said, playing a character that is out of your comfort zone. Honestly, this is coming from a more of a beginner. Like Jordan has much more acting experience than I do, both in big roles and in its ensemble. But from a beginner's point of view, I would say just playing a character that is outside of your comfort zone, outside of what you would normally do, is the biggest building block for me. And then for you, Jordan.
Definitely. Well, before we move on to my point again, I just would like to add, because I kind of looked over yours. Yours was a very good point, um, that I totally agree with. I look for more and more chances to play roles out of my comfort zone, or stuff that I haven't done before. It's hard because I often get put in the same rut of very similar characters, so I'm not allowed to branch out.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely stretch yourself in those ways if you're acting. And then for me, the point I had was, my method is to create a life for the character, no matter how much stage time or screen time they get. They got to have a life before then to make them seem real. Uh,
Mhm.
so yeah, that's
Play out of your comfort zone. Have a life before the character.
have
All right. That was our last question for today. We're already past an hour. I'm not sure if I'm going to edit this down much. I don't think we have any breaks that we have to make.
I
So
really think so.
this will be an easy edit.
Nice.
Nice.
Again, ask us questions. We need more questions from real people.
Drop them in the comments below. Send them to our Instagram. Instagrams will be in the description below.
Follow us or don't, but please follow us. That'd be cool.
Yep. Subscribe if you would, or likes work well too.
More
Maybe just
content.
watch it. Heck, if you even just watch it, I'm happy. I like seeing that views go up.
That's really nice to do that.
It feels
Um,
good in my soul.
we hope that you enjoy our podcast, because we just like talking about stuff, and
Plus,
you could just turn
if
this on and put it on the background while you're doing other stuff. Who cares?
yeah, we should really say that at the beginning.
That's true. We should tell
Let's
people
say that at the beginning next time.
okay.
But this has been just our opinion with Jordan and Joey,
Thank.
and catch us next time on Nickelodeon.
Wait, we're doing Nickelodeon now.
Well, CBS stopped funding us, so
I'm done
they
with
sold us
Nickelodeon.
to Nickelodeon. They sold us
I'm
to
fair with
Nickelodeon.
that. We're on the same network as
Yeah,
SpongeBob, so that's
except for they're putting us up at Nick at Night, not
uh
like not prime time.
well, you can't win them all. We'll get there.
Can't win them all.
All
We'll
right.
get there.
Thanks for listening. I was going to say thanks for watching, but that doesn't work. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Hopefully,
Bye
see you
bye.
next time. Bye.
Bye bye.